That's not a rocking chair, okay? Stand up.
Hey y'all, this is Eduardo, and I recently met him through our church, having placed his wife, my wife, him, and myself all in a married couples small group that meets one night per week. It was February 22nd, 2019, and Eduardo had invited me over to his house for lunch after I had reached out to him to get together. He had piqued my interest during the single group meeting we had at that point, but was still a stranger to me. Why the interest in him in particular? Well, Eduardo and his wife are both from Venezuela and moved here to Atlanta back in 2008 as missionaries. Yes, that alone is enough to draw my interest and respect. But my real reason for reaching out to him as I did was due to my desire to try and understand what is going on right now in their native country better. He had expressed his concern for his country, his family, his friends, and the people of the country in general that previous Tuesday night in our group meeting. My thought was, who better to get legit insight regarding the crisis going on there now than somebody from there? As a former pizzeria owner in Venezuela, Eduardo told me that cooking was a hobby of his, which is why he'd invited me over to their place for lunch. Once there, we talked for an hour or so before even eating the delicious arepas, which he had told me was the Venezuelan version of tacos that he and his wife had prepared for us. During that time, we discussed both his country's history and what is happening there now extensively. The biggest takeaway for me regarding his opinion of the situation was when he told me, "They're trying to hide the sun, but there is no way." He was referring to the country's socialist government refusing to let humanitarian aid in that is desperately needed due to wanting the outside world to think that everything is just fine there, that there is no problem there at all, and that their, quote, socialism of the 21st century, end quote, is great, with no suffering involved. I learned a lot from that discussion with him, but then realized that so much of my story about him shouldn't be about his concern for what's going on there in his native country, but instead his heart for what he's doing here in the United States. Eduardo and his wife, Sheila, run a ministry to help primarily the large Hispanic community's kids in their neighborhood. They have a dedicated room in their place that looks very much like a classroom where they teach them the importance of doing their homework, learning to read well, working to earn money and what they want in life, and to give to others, all with the Bible and the teachings of Jesus being the foundation of everything they do there. There is far too much for me to go into that they do for these kids, but I promise you that whether you are a Christian or not, it would be real hard to not have heard and saw what I did that day without having a sincere feeling of admiration for them and what they're doing for these kids. All that being said, the one bit of advice that Eduardo had for you all was, don't lose your years, which are short in life. Don't lose it. Take advantage of the years God has allowed you to live, because as we have come, we will go. We came naked and we will leave naked. We don't take anything from here. So don't miss the opportunity to take advantage of what the Lord wants you to know. I don't know about any of y'all that are listening to this, but his insight, his advice, hit me pretty hard. Because over the past couple of years, after having turned 40, I've really struggled with feeling like I haven't made the most of my time here in this life. It's been a haunting thought for me that I have a hard time escaping. And I often worry whether I'm doing what I need to be doing in this life. I often tell people that I believe it's a sin to waste a God-given talent you know you have. And that's part of what this project, Stranger Advice, is all about to me. I don't want to have to answer for having not tried to do something good with the ability I've been given one day when my time here is up. Eduardo, Thank you for reminding me that my time here is limited, that I need to quit letting life and lame excuses get in the way of me doing this project weekly as I intend to do when I started it, along with so many other things I aspire to do. Thank you for doing what you and Sheila do and for inspiring me to get back at what I need to do.